Hello. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome, everyone. I am Barakah the Muslimah, and I'm so grateful that you are here. Tonight, our subject is going to be Tawakkul, right? Trusting Allah when you can't see the outcome. Every Thursday, we come together to strengthen our faith, to encourage one another, and remember that no matter what life looks like, Allah is always with us. God is right here right by our side, as they say, closer to you than your jugular vein. That's how close Allah is at any time. So, last week we talked about protecting our peace, and tonight we're talking about something that helps us keep that peace. So trusting Allah even when we don't understand His plan. And one of the things that I learned was that we cannot attach ourselves to the outcome of situations. We can only commit to doing our part, setting the intentions on what it is that you're asking Allah for, what your part of that is, and allowing God to see it through however it needs to, because God sees all. He sees every roadblock and stumbling block that you can imagine, that you can't imagine. He already knows. I'm going to delay her getting to this location by 10 minutes because if she was there sooner, she would have gotten an accident, right? Something else would have happened. So we have to trust that Allah has our best interests. We are His servants. So we have to trust that He has our best interests at all times, even when we don't understand, even when we don't know. We have to know that, right? So I want to ask you guys, what's one word that describes your week? So for me, I will say one is alignment, and I've actually had a few conversations today, and this has been said in a couple of conversations that I've had about alignment and having people in your life that align with your purpose, what you are doing here. If you are committed to being a servant of God, you have to have people in your life that align with that thought process, okay? So those things are very, very important. So alignment, as well as productivity, and seeing that the future is bright. Seeing that God already has a plan for my life. Knowing that I don't have to worry about anything. Do my part, and Allah will handle all of the things that come after that. And that's just amazing to me. I actually read a book about Tawakkul, and I was just amazed at how often we put confidence and faith in ourselves, but not in God. And that's just a little sidebar from my own learning and reading, right? But what is Tawakkul? So many people think trusting Allah means doing nothing. That's not Islam. That's not trusting Allah. Tawakkul means tying your camel, then trusting Allah. So if God gave you a camel and it's yours, so you should want to protect it and take care of it, feed it, do all the things because it is helping you. Therefore, you take care of it, right? So if you're going somewhere, you don't just say, oh, I'll just let my camel roam free. God got me. He does. But you have to do your part, which is securing what God has given you, which is your camel. Tie your camel. Make sure that you, in your car, you lock the doors, right? God's going to take care of it. And if somebody is going to come into your house or take your camel or take your car, God already knows that too. But because you did your part, it allows God to step in and take care of the rest. We make plans, we work hard, we pray, we seek advice, then we leave the outcome to Allah. So because we know that we need to get up and do work, that we need to get up and take care of our children, take care of our families, we need to pray, we need to do those things, we make plans for that. We set our intentions at Fajr, what our day is going to look like. Allah, I'm giving it to you. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to divert my attention from anything that takes me out of alignment with the path that you have me on. I'm going to make the plans, but I'm not going to be tied to the outcome of that plan. I'm not. I'm going to make the plan. Okay, God, tomorrow I have 3 meetings. I have this and I have that. And as I'm going along that journey at each of those stops, I do the things that God has asked me to do at those stops. So that includes tying my camel, locking my car door, taking out valuables. Whatever it is that I know to do on my part, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go on with the rest of the day, because whatever is meant for me will not miss me. And if it misses you, it wasn't for you. And we have to trust that Allah has the best intentions for us. And we know He does. He's the one who created us. God created us. So why would He put us out there to be hurt? If anything, we have to be reminded that there is a lesson in everything. And I've said before, without a test, there's no testimony. So without this test that God gives us, we can't learn a lesson. We can't learn how to do it better. We work hard. So you do the work that you're supposed to do related to your day to day. You do that. You pray. You try to pray all 5 prayers. You do your best to speak to Allah. Be reminded of Allah. Return to Allah daily and throughout your day. You seek advice. Of course, you want it to be godly advice. Someone who you can talk to that has a God consciousness, so that you know that they are aligned with where you are going and they understand who God is in your life and in their life. And they're not going to stand in the way of that path for you. And then we leave the outcome. You do your part and know that God has you, the rest of it all together. Excuse me. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you couldn't imagine another outcome? And sometimes we try to control the outcome. We try, I need this kind of car. I need this type of, thing in my life. I need this. I need that. And we try to control that outcome. But maybe God didn't want you to have the BMW X5. He wanted you to have the Mercedes AMG GLE 53. That's what I want. But anyway, you don't know what God has for you. So you create the plan. You work the plan. But you don't tie yourself to the outcome, because the outcome is already there for you once you do your part. Why is trusting so difficult? First of all, we are in a very reactive world. We're reacting to our phones. We're reacting to an email. Something is coming. We got to react as these things are coming at us, right? So we want control. We want control. We want to know, this is what's going on. This is what's going to happen. We want certainty. We want to know, I did this, this is the result. I did this, this is the result. But that's not the way the world works. And as long as we keep tying ourselves to those outcomes and expectations, we have disappointment. But if you realize that what God has for you is for you, and whatever that outcome is there for a reason, you are able to relax and lessen that anxiety. We want answers immediately. We don't want to wait. I want to be able to pick up the phone, call you, text you, and you respond and you give me the answer right there, plain as day, right? That's what we look for, because that's the world that we are in. But the reality is God doesn't work like this world. He doesn't work like the dunya. He doesn't work that way. Sometimes a delay, as they say, delay is not denial. It doesn't mean that that's not what God has for you. It might just not be right now. Maybe mentally you're not prepared. Maybe physically you're not prepared. So many things, right? That we don't see. But Allah sees what we cannot see, who we cannot see, opportunities we cannot see, and dangers we cannot see. He sees it all. And sometimes we get stressed out, right? Because when you start asking God to remove people out of your life that are not supposed to go with you on your next leg of this life, people and situations and jobs and all the things, you ask God to remove those things, and you wake up sometimes and you by yourself. But you have to remember, you might be by yourself here, but as I already said, Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein, which means He's always right there when no one else is. And sometimes He has to remove, like someone said, too much access. Sometimes He has to remove the access that we have given to other people because we put too much stock into that. We too busy worried about what this person's saying, what that person got to say. Oh, what that. God said, don't put your faith in man. Because man will disappoint you every time. But if you know that what is for you, then there is nothing that anyone can say. They can't steal that from you when you know. And I say this all the time, even before becoming Muslim and practicing Christianity. I always knew there was God. There was never a time where I felt like there's not God. And right now, I don't care what you say to make me believe that there is not a God. I don't believe it. You can't tell me that. The things that I've been through in my life, the things that I've accomplished and overcome since being an adult and even as a child, can't nobody tell me God ain't real. Can't tell me God ain't here. And as I said, sometimes Allah's delay is not denial. It's not that he doesn't want you to have the big house, that he doesn't want you to have that job. But there's something happening. And it could be as simple as there's some movement that needs to happen in that job before you can get there. There's something that needs to happen in that house before you can set foot in there. God already knows. He has already ordained those steps of where we're going. He already is where. It's his protection. And if you just sit with that for a moment, God is protecting you sometimes by delaying things that you've asked him for. Because if he puts you there right now, you may not appreciate it. A part of what I do with my Wealth Wednesday, as well as tonight, is just talk about what God has for you in your life. How he protects us from things that we don't need to be in. How he prepares us for that next step. So what does Tawakkul look like every day? If you're unemployed, you go and look for a job. You don't just say, you know what? That job didn't work. I'm just not going to look for another one. And God just going to open the door and bring the job to me. God wants to see that you are doing your part. And back to, I missed the spot there when I wanted to talk about stewardship, when I talked about Wealth Wednesday. God gives you things. And then if you are not a good steward over those things, he may not increase that thing. So I'm teaching you guys and trying to explain to you guys how much the trust and the faith in God, how far that will take you in your life. So if you're looking for a job, you submit the applications. You improve your skills. If there's another certification that aligns with your career path and you're unemployed, take it. If there's some license that you've been waiting to take and now you have the 2-3 weeks while you're job searching to get that to add to what you can do next, do it. That is what Tawakkul looks like in your everyday life. You pray, you trust Allah, you fill out the applications, you update your resume, you do all the things that will get you seen by those that God has placed in your life to see you. I'm talking about something right now, y'all. I don't know if y'all hearing this. As my friend said, preach, listen. You have to do your part. You have to. Within your marriage, if you're within a marriage, you have to Tawakkul in your day-to-day life looks like making dua for your marriage, for your spouse, for yourself, to be the best partner you can be, to be the best believer you can be in Allah, and trusting that Allah is going to take care of it. Working on yourself, because before anything is you by yourself. When judgment day arrives, we are standing there alone. It ain't gonna be, well, my husband did this, or my wife did this, or my kids did. God gonna ask, what did you do? What did you say? How did you handle that situation? Work on yourself to be a better person. That's something we could do every day. You're doing your part. God knows we are not perfect. He knows that we have sins. We do things that we're not supposed to. He knows that already. But in that time of waiting, in that time of trying to progress in your marriage, work on yourself. Seek wise counsel. As I said, make sure it's somebody that aligns with you and your belief system. If you believe in God, you can't talk to somebody that tell you they don't believe in God, because Because how is that aligning? It's not. You seek wise counsel. You seek someone who has a God conscience, because that way, if they say something, even accidentally, that could be harmful, because they have a God conscience, they're already asking God for his forgiveness for what they may have said or done that could lead you the wrong way. He's already done that. But you want to make sure you're talking to somebody who has that same frame of mind. Then you have to trust Allah's timing. Things don't happen overnight. If you have something going on in your marriage, it doesn't get fixed overnight. You got to work on yourself, and you got to know that God is in the midst of that. As long as you do your part, he will take care of the rest. In parenting, right? The things you got to do, and how Tawakkul shows up in your day-to-day life as a parent, is you teach. You teach them the things that you didn't know, and now you do know. You teach them the things that you just learned. You teach them about God. You let them know what trusting Allah looks like. Every day. You love them. You show them to the best of your ability what God's love looks like. So they can also be aware when they see it out in the world, and when they see the lack thereof out there in the world. You guide. You take your time and you guide them. It doesn't say make them do. No, you guide them. Now sometimes you got to be a little firm. If you know me, you know. But you guide them. You explain. You show them the way that they should be doing things. And if you practice that, it won't have to go back to do as I say, not as I do. It will be do as I do as I say. All in one swing, swoop. You get it, you got it. Right? You pray. Your children are facing things that you didn't face, that they're facing a lot younger in this world of technology, of the world of temptation. There are temptations regardless. But in this world, anything that is sinful is at fingertips reach. So you got to pray. You got to pray for them. You got to pray for their minds, their hearts, their understanding, that other people see the God in them and maybe they won't attack them. You pray for them. You remember that guidance belongs to Allah. So you do your part. And as long as you do your part, you have to know God is going to guide them. You have shown them to the best of your ability what to do. And now you know that God is going to guide them the rest of the way. Oh, absolutely. You pray with them. You pray with them. You pray for them. You pray over them. All of the things, baby, because we need it. We need it. We need people to pray for us. We definitely have to pray for our children because they don't know. They know even less than we do, and we don't know as much as we think we do. Your finances. Budget wisely. Avoid unnecessary debt. Plan carefully. Be generous. Trust Allah as Ar-Razak. And excuse me for any words that I don't say correctly. Arabic is something I'm learning. But that means the provider. You trust that Allah is providing, not a job, not another person. God is providing, even if he's providing by allowing that person to go to work to be able to provide in their household. God is doing that. In connection with my Wealth Wednesday message, faith and financial stewardship go hand in hand. We plan wisely, but our security ultimately comes from Allah, not our bank account. So these are some lessons from my own journey. There have been seasons where I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, how they were going to happen, what they should, all the things. Looking back now, I'm thankful that Allah didn't answer every prayer the way I wanted. And they even tell you, you ask God for patience. He don't just make you patient. Oh, she's patient. Mm-mm. He puts tests and situations in your path for your patience to be tested, for your patience to grow, so you have more endurance. He does that. That's how he does it. And it's like, God, I just want to be patient, but I keep having. Yes, because he got to stretch you. Because what God has for you is bigger than where you are right now. So he's got to stretch you and pull you so that you can be in a position to receive and be a part of everything that he has for you. And we have to remember, and I have to say this often, his plan has always been better than mine. When I go through something, I'm like, dang, I wish, and I sit back and I have to remind myself and be grateful. God, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have this. If it wasn't for that lesson, I wouldn't be here in my life. I wouldn't have known how to deal with this situation if I hadn't been through that one. Sometimes you just got to remind yourself, God's plan is the best. He is the best of planners. And he is the one you can rely on. I want to ask you guys a couple questions. Where in your life right now is Allah asking you to trust him today? And for me, it's in this business, okay? Because I am working in 2 commission-based careers. Life insurance, health insurance, and real estate. So I've got to trust God and his plan in making the right connections, in having the right network opportunities, having the right people as clients come in my life. I have to trust him. And that's what God is saying. Trust me. I am working the plan with you. Just keep doing your part. On Wednesdays, keep showing up for Wealth Wednesday. On Thursdays, keep showing up for these real, authentic conversations with faith, family, and freedom in every interaction. That's where we're at. What burden are you carrying that you need to place before Allah? That's a good one. I'm going to have to think about that. What burden? Because I could probably name a few. But I want you guys to consider, what burden are you carrying that is not yours to carry? That you need to get down on that prayer mat and give to God. That you need to get in that closet where you pray at and give it to God and release that burden from yourself. Only you know. Only you know. What blessing came into your life that you didn't expect? So many things. Even in my personal life, I think about the fact that, Allah knows best. So he'll know if I have biological grandchildren. But as of right now, I have 3 that are not biological, but you couldn't tell me they're not mine. I love those little people. God blessed me and brought their mothers into my life so that I can also be a part of their life. And I'm grateful for that. As always, I like to leave you guys with a little challenge for the week. And so for this week, I want you to begin every morning. And I'm going to say the Arabic. It's written here. But just know that if my tajweed is not correct, if I say it wrong, I'm going to tell you the English version. And just know my intentions are pure. My heart is pure. And I want the best for all of you. So it's Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, which is Allah is sufficient for us. And he is the best disposer of affairs. He is all that we need. He is more than sufficient. He is everything. And he is the one who can handle every situation, everything that you are a part of. He is the one that can handle it. So I want you guys this week that when anxiety comes up, pause. Repeat that message. Allah is sufficient for us, and he is the best disposer of affairs. Remember who is in control, and also I encourage everyone to write down one situation each day where they consciously chose trust over worry. You run into a situation and you about to get worked up. And then you said, Alhamdulillah, God got me. God got it. I'm trusting Allah. I am putting all faith in Allah. I am surrendering to my God. And I want you to write that down. And I want you to start practicing that. Pause. Remind yourself that Allah is sufficient, that He is the best disposer of affairs, and that I'm going to trust in Him. Faith isn't believing that everything will happen exactly as we want. Faith is believing that whatever Allah chooses for us will ultimately be better for us, even if we don't understand it today. A closing dua that I would like to pray with you all. Oh Allah, increase our faith, strengthen our trust in you, help us surrender our worries, guide our families, protect our hearts, bless our homes, grant us patience in hardship and gratitude in ease. Allow us to be among those who rely upon you completely. Ameen. If tonight's reminders encouraged you, share it with someone who you know may need some hope. Join me every Thursday at 8 o'clock for Barakah the Muslimah, where we grow in faith together. And every Wednesday for Wealth Wednesday, where we learn practical ways to steward the blessings Allah has entrusted to us. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I love you all. Good night.